Hi, me, Space Monkey. You listen. Wrestling Cheers.
Taking your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when Big Papa Pump is your hookup. Holler if you hear me. And this is Wrestling Cheers, where we like to discuss things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews. This is a review episode of AIW Absolution XIII. And we are brought to you by the Trending Topics Network and NEO Sports Insiders. Please head on over to wherever you're listening to this fine podcast, rate, review, and subscribe. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com, and iHeartRadio. It is officially been updated. I don't know what it took, but it is up to date with the episode the last time I checked. We're also, you can get a hold of us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we got a merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. With all that out of the way, I am your host. I am heavy set. Like I said, Absolution fucking 13. What a crazy night it was. And we're here to talk about it. Thank you for all the feedback on our very, very long preview episode. I understand that it was a lot to get through. There was a lot of voices, but there were two newer voices that a lot of people seem to really love, and it was great to have them on the show. And, well, they're back here again. First, we're going to start off with Patrick. How's it going, Patrick?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me back. Thanks to everybody who came up to me at Absolution and said they liked me on the podcast. Thanks for that.
And returning, and hopefully he knows how to work a mute button, we have Rick.
The mute button is my best friend. How's everybody doing?
So far, you've been doing really well on the call. There hasn't been as much background noise and everything. Maybe it was also because we had literally 8 people on the call, so no matter what, it's great to have you back.
Thanks, sir.
So, Absolution 13. Before we get into it, what were your guys' thoughts on the night as a whole? It seems to be everybody on social media has said nothing but good things about this show. This may be one of the best Absolutions I've ever been to. It's up there with Absolution X, which is freaking legendary. And we had not one, not two, but 3 title changes in the night. The only belt that didn't change hands, well, it's because, I don't know, one people will tell you there's no champion. Another one is they're down in Orlando, but that would be the women's championship. But the other 3 titles all changed hands. I had a fun night. What about you, Patrick?
Yeah, it was great. Every AIW show I go to is better and better. You know, everyone's gets better and better. I can't think of a better time than going to AIW show, but this one in particular, Absolution, this was my second Absolution, and boy, did it deliver. Every match was a barn burner, as Mr. Steve Guy would say.
How about you, Rick?
This, as well, was my second Absolution, and I'm only about 2.5 years into the whole AIW experience, but this easily was the most fun top-to-bottom show that I have been to. I mean, starting at 3 o'clock out in the parking lot with the tailgate and ending about 1 a.m. with me ducking out of the after party a bit early because I'm an old man. But I have nothing bad to say about this night or this show at all.
Yeah, it was a long day, too. We were getting a little Swiss cheesed up in the parking lot prior to the show.
Yeah, I know there were a lot of Ritas, and I regret bringing the Ritas.
We cracked those PBRs too prior that Tony brought.
Yeah, I know I'm talking about it.
That's probably how the hot dog made its way to the guardrail, but we'll talk about that later.
The tailgating aspect was damn near phenomenal too. Just I missed the whole after party thing, but see, this November I will have been gone to AIW for, I believe it's 7 years, and of all the Absolutions I've been to, I feel like they all stack up one way or another, and the last few have just been, they get better and better and better. I'm really partial to at least how last year's ended because of the whole Nick Gage thing.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, that was.
But as a whole, this was a fantastic card. We had an impromptu match, and the match that went with it before, it didn't go nearly as everybody expected it. I don't think any of us had a perfect prediction. I then again, I didn't write them all down. If we also don't count the 6-way scramble that the show started off with, that we didn't necessarily know was going to go, but as a whole, we did not see this card shaping out the way it did.
Definitely not. I was wrong a whole bunch.
I was very happy to be wrong a whole bunch because it over-delivered what I thought was actually going to happen.
Let's actually get into the card as a whole, and let's start with the 6-way scramble match, the only match on the whole card. Actually, before I can get to that, let's do back up, because I'm too used to just going with what's on the card and going down from that. We did mention the tailgate. Shout out to the ringside guys for putting that on. I always love having those tailgates. And I don't know how many more we'll get this year, but it is definitely one of those moments where we can all come together, whether you hear people on this podcast, whether you see their tweets on Twitter. It was cool to get together and just have a fun conversations. And yeah, awesome job. Thanks again, guys. How do you guys feel about it?
I didn't get to hang out too much. I didn't get there too early, but it's nice to know that there's other weirdos who want to get there way early like I do and just hang out with everybody prior to the show. It makes me feel like less of a weirdo. So yeah, but I also met those guys, ringside guys, the tailgate crew a couple times prior to this. I just didn't have I didn't get there as early as I'd like to this time. But those guys are great, and gals. There's a bunch of people there. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's fun to start putting some faces and names together. I mean, because I think I said this to probably you guys. At this point, if you walk into the AIW arena, you can almost draw a map of who's going to be sitting where, around the ring, and that you're going to see Stacy and Pam up in the, and Kayden's crew, and then the job, reserved for Jobber, and so forth. But
you like my signs?
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to finally. Somebody had an idea of, putting stickers on that had your Twitter handle. So people, saw everybody calling Pat Ron and calling Ron Pat, and, that whole thing. So it was nice. I had a really, really, really good time. It was a nice build up for the evening. What do they call it? You get yourself a nice base coat of booze flowing, and then you're good to go.
That's actually one thing I really love, the whole fact of, we are slowly but surely we're putting names to faces. I'll use, Thrift Store Jobber as an example. For the longest time, he was the guy that looked like Davey Vega. And then when, I don't know whether I'm the one that put it together or someone said something to me, like who Thrift Store Jobber was, it was like, oh, no shit. I've recognized him many times, but I've had zero conversation with him. And now, he's obviously been on the show and all this kind of stuff, and it's that community that we build, and it's cool to see how that's evolved over the years. Because I know when I came to my first show, I knew one person, and I knew him through mutual friends. And at the second show I ever went to, he somewhat jumped the barricade because a wrestler said, "Well, come in here and say that." So he did. He got his head fucking kicked in, and he got banned forever. And he's only ever managed to come to one show since then, and that was WrestleRager last year. So I knew from that moment on I had to make new friends. And now it seems to be a whole hell of a lot easier. And there's always new fans coming in, new people coming in, and then you're kind of introducing different fans to each other too. Because I think there's been moments where I've mentioned a particular fan's name to another fan. They're like, I don't know who that is, and then I might show them a picture or point them out, and they go, oh, okay, I didn't know who that was. So the more we evolve this, the better for, I think, everybody. Because yeah, where this whole show came from, it's you want to sometimes go to a place where everybody knows your name. You want to be able to just walk into an AIW show, for example, and people know who you are. Like, you don't even have to show up with people, and you're going to have conversations and all this kind of shit. And I know one thing, like, I don't know about you guys, but it's like the longer you're here, the more friends you acquire. And then after you grab your seat, you're walking around, like, saying what's up to a bunch of people, and comes to a point like Dustin. I've known Dustin for a long time, and I didn't even really get a chance to speak to him because this show was fucking packed. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that or not.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is I knew Dustin slightly, speaking of Mr. Alberti, I knew him slightly. I know his mom, and my fiance knows his family pretty well. And then when we met each other, I saw him at AIW, and I was like, oh, man, hey, how's it going? Like, it's just weird how many people, it's a small world, and the weird world of wrestling brings it all together, and it's pretty awesome. But yeah, it was fucking packed. It was John Thorne asked for a packed house, and Cleveland Faithful delivered because it was fucking packed in there.
I like the fact that it was packed, but it didn't feel like it was that packed. I guess, we got a little bit of a break with the weather, not like the 115 degrees or whatever the heck it was last year. And then the, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but the new setup, the place just felt a lot bigger than it has in the past. And I was really happy with the whole thing.
Yeah, kind of cut off a lot of the standing room only sort of spots. I know where people kind of stand against that back wall, but I really liked the runway sort of thing. Yeah, it was great. I liked it a lot. Maybe
because of the runway too, it felt there was more people in there. I don't know if there was more people or not, but I'm also pretty sure neither of you were around for the Turner's Holidays, right?
Yeah, I've seen it on Powerbomb, but never never was at a show.
Yeah, same here.
Because I know I've mentioned it before. You go back and watch those shows. You even watch maybe one of the bigger shows where more people showed up. If you could find Hell on Earth, I want to say it's 10. I think that was one of the last ones there, and it was a full house. Actually, you can go on to YouTube and find Marion Fontaine versus Rockstar Spud, one of my favorite matches of all time, and that was one of those shows that Turner's Hall was packed. As big as AIW felt at that time, and when we switched to Our Lady of Mount Carmel, more people can fit into Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and it's still starting to get packed to where the point of, when it's intermission and you want to go over and, I don't know, see someone, whoever's set up in the corner, you have to fight the traffic of people trying to get to these other wrestlers, trying to go out for a smoke, trying to go out to the restroom, maybe trying to make their way the opposite way of wherever you're going. And it's crazy. I felt like this was one of those nights, and it did feel like there were more standing room only seats than at seats, but you're standing, but there's more people standing than ever before. And I think it's awesome that a lot of people showed up. Whatever they showed up for, whatever for, it's great. Like I said, I love the show.
Yeah, I think it gave it made it a little bit more crowded, but it also gave it the big show feel. So I think it worked on both levels.
All right, let's get back into the card as a whole, and I do want to mention a very, very slight behind the curtains production error. We actually paused for a minute. And
you're gonna tell them? You're gonna put yourself out there like that?
I'm open and honest. I'm open and fucking honest. we took a pause for, like I said, a really brief second, and I forgot to double check the recorder. Now I know I hit record, and I thought it was going, but I also hit pause a little bit before that to just make sure it was still good. Anyway, the whole point is, motherfucker, we actually got 2 matches deep into conversation, and I realized, because I wanted to go back and double check, oh yeah, guess what? It's not recording. So we are going to reverse a little bit, and we're going to talk, well, reverse for us, but go back to the 6-man Scrabble match. Started off the show. So we got Lewis Linden, Derek Director, Space Monkey, the AIW return of KTB and Rex Brody, and then the debut of Wheeler Yuta. And I have been informed that Wheeler Yuta was on Dojo Pro, which you can find on Amazon Prime. I have yet to get down to sit down and watch it. So I'll be really interested to see him when I do go back into that. But it's cool to see, you know, Space Monkey at a show. I'm a huge fan of his. I think we need to do the banana thing with him one more time. I miss throwing bananas at him. And it's almost like a match that we're going to talk about a little later, where when Dr. Dan came out, everybody just magically started looking at me going, "Where's the toilet paper?" And I was like, well, I can't pay for it all the time. Granted, we have taken donations, but
yeah, I throw in every time. But I was just thinking about that. Weird World's going to be mad at us because they take those, and we didn't hook them up with any shit tickets this time. They're probably going to be pretty pissed off at us for not doing that.
So, if you want to bring toilet paper, Family Dollar is the best place to go. Maybe Dollar General, but I've always seemed to go to Family Dollars. Most of those places like that have them for $1, like 4 rolls in a pack for $1. They're not great quality, but it serves the purpose of what we're going to use it for. And it'd be cool if it's more than me, you know, going out buying it. Like I said, Patrick did donate a couple.
I was thrown in.
Yeah, I think it was Jayla. I think that was Jayla weekend. I don't know. That might have been $20 worth, but I don't know. It's just, if we have more people buying it, like, I'll do it more. So get more people.
I'm not buying bananas though. Those things are disgusting. I hate bananas. I like Space Monkey, but I hate bananas. They're gross.
You would get along with my girlfriend so well. She can't stand the sight of it, the taste of it, and like she'll if she sees one that's been aged a little bit, or even sees one in general, but especially if they've been aged, so they got the spots and the bruises, like she'll go. And fun thing that I didn't mention when we previously talked about this match, and this is a true story. Sometimes when we've gone to Steak and Shake, they don't clean out the mixers well. Sometimes there's a hint of a different flavor. And there was a time where, actually we had this twice at 2 different Steak and Shakes. One in North Canton, the other one in Streetsboro, where we're drinking our shakes and she could taste this faint taste of banana. The first time I was drinking, I'm like, this tastes a little off. I'm like, I think it tastes like banana. So I double checked with her, and she was like, yeah, I think that's banana. The funnier time was,
then once you put it in her head too, then that's probably all she could taste.
I don't have to put it in her head. We went to this one I know was at the Streetsboro one, and whatever we ordered, they gave us our shakes, and they're like, oh, you know, just pull over in a parking spot, you know, we'll get your food out here in a couple minutes. I was like, all right, cool. So as I'm parking, she grabs my shake and tries it. It has the taste of banana mixed in with it. So all of a sudden, she's just like about to throw up. So it's not necessarily putting it in her head. There's also another thing. I bought this special V8 mix drink, and I think it was called like Sweet Greens. And when you think greens, you don't think bananas, even though, you know, they are green when they start off. So I try it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Not thinking the whole banana thing. She tries it, and she's like, is there banana in that? And I look, yeah, there's fucking banana. Immediately get sick. So
not going to be bringing any bananas anytime soon. That's for sure.
And then what is it for you? Like, what is it that you don't like about them?
Just everything. The smell. They smell disgusting. The taste of it, like artificial banana flavor. You ever have like a banana popsicle or a banana sucker? Like, oh god, fucking gross.
But it's
not my thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's great to have Space Monkey back at AIW. KTB, great to see him back as well. I think Patrick did a chant with him.
Yeah, that guy rules. KTB, man, he's from the woods. We got a From the Woods chant going. That was pretty good. I felt pretty good about that. That dude's crazy huge. He did some crazy shit.
And then the return of Rex Brody. Rex Brody hasn't been in AIW for a couple years. I believe it was the end of 2016. It was a show at Tequila Jack's, now known as Men Around the Lake, AIW Season of the Witch. And it's where he defeated Brian Carson. Even before that, June 17th, 2016, AIW What's in the Basement Club Pack, also at Tequila Jack's. He was defeated by a certain wrestler by the name of Ethan Carter III, EC3.
Yeah. Great wrestler, great name for a show. What's in the Basement Club Pack? Like that? That's a good one. Love that movie. Burbs. It's good stuff. Rex, that dude, I never saw Rex Brody before live, but he's pretty nuts. He did. We said it earlier, but yeah, he did a front flip off the top rope to the outside. That was pretty nuts. That was right in front of you guys on the big stage area over there. That was crazy.
According to CageMatch.net, he hadn't been in a match since April 15th, 2017.
Damn.
So I know
he was good.
I think he had some sort of injury, so he took a little bit of time off. And as a longtime fan, it was cool to see him back again. So that match ended with none other than a victory from Lewis Linden via the Dragon Sleeper.
Called it.
Well, you called it versus MJF.
Yep, but I knew he would win. Did we talk about how MJF came out on commentary?
I mean, we did, but we didn't.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't sure if that was at the beginning or the last time. But yeah, he came out on commentary. They played his music and he came out. That was cool. We got to see him again. We sit right in front of commentary, and I have a loud mouth, so he made fun of me for like the good first quarter of the show. It was pretty funny. I look forward to hearing all of his insults live on DVD when I buy that from smartmarkvideo.com.
Was he on commentary the whole night?
And I think just like the first one or two matches. I don't really remember specifically. Try to block it out. He made fun of me pretty hard. He roasted me pretty good.
He's really good at that. One thing I really love about MJF.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to see him even for just a little bit. Since he couldn't wrestle, he was hurt, but it was good to get made fun of him. Get made fun of by him.
So then we had the second match. Feel free to jump in, Rick, as we're trying to recount everything that we said.
Yep, I got it. I feel bad we shit on Lewis Linden on the podcast so bad last time. That wasn't very nice of us.
But wasn't that more thrift store jobber? Because he was just like, I don't get him. Like I don't understand Lewis Linden. And you're gonna have that with wrestlers and fans. I remember when the Jollyville Fuckets first debuted, and people were just like, "Yeah, we love these guys," and I'm like, why? Like, I understand they do cool moves, but I'm like I don't know. I am not connected with them yet. And I got accused from Nasty Nate, or Nasty Russ, Nasty Nate as a joke, because I did accidentally call him that, but Nasty Russ, for burying them on the podcast back in the day. And I'm not saying you guys suck. I'm just saying I don't personally get it. And then eventually they did put out a really cool promo. And I was just like, I think I get it now. I'm more invested in what you guys are doing. So, I mean, you're going to have that with fans. I get it.
Yeah, that was me too. And I stand by everything I said. And same as what Brian said, Thrift Store said as well. We don't think there's anything wrong. He's fine mechanically, the dude. And he proves it again this match. He put on a good match. It just, I don't know. The pirate and me don't identify. I don't know. I just thought, I'm not a fan. I'm not trying to be a dick. Did we really shit on him that bad, Rick? Man, now I feel bad.
we didn't really crap on him. It was more a matter of I think at one point somebody fell asleep talking about him, and then we heard the crickets in the background. And I think I said he just blends into the scenery, and
I think he's better in something like this, like a six-way, where he doesn't have to be like, I don't know. Never mind.
He doesn't have to wrestle like Ultimo Dragon or anything, something like that.
I'm excited to watch that match a lot. Not gonna lie, that's gonna be. I'm excited to watch it.
Now let's talk about Duke Money. Let's just call them that as the whole, because I mean, granted, it was Duke Money of being Mance Warner and Jock Sampson, but since we've added Party Never Ends with Parker Pierce and Big Twan Tucker, I feel like it's either Duke Money or Alpha Beta Duke 2. For those who don't,
I go with just Duke. I would just go with Duke Money.
Yeah, it's Duke Money.
What about Duke Money Talks? Fun fact, I got into my car yesterday after work. That was the song on the radio. I thought it was kind of funny. But we had Duke Money versus the Weird World Experience. Weird Body, Evan Adams, Alex, Worldwide Keller, Philly Collins, and Marino Tenaglia. Boy, was everybody just dogging on the Duke the moment he walked out.
Good old boner powder.
Yeah, we shit on him pretty good. There were some good signs. There was a couple boner powder Pete signs and bright blue. That was really good. Works on multiple levels. I like it. Stacy, I think that was Stacy and Pam's sign. That was good. Somebody had a sign with just the Duke's face like groaning. That one was good. Yeah, man, that dude sucks.
Well, we had the Duke helping give the victory for Duke Money with a guitar shot to Worldwide. And what was the reaction from you, Patrick, and the Star Jobber?
Yeah, if we can watch it back when the DVD comes out, I'll be excited to see how ridiculous we're losing our minds when he is about to hit Worldwide's about to hit Duke with that guitar, and goddamn Big Twan grabs it out of his hand, and then Duke delivers the shot to Worldwide. And oh man, for those couple seconds where me and Thrift Store thought Duke was going to get hit with that guitar, oh man, it was really great.
I was watching directly across the ring from Thrift Store Jobber, and at that moment I thought that somebody had just run over his dog. That was the look in his poor little puppy dog eyes when he thought the Duke was going to get the guitar shot, and then the Duke ended up coming out on top.
I figured it would.
Yeah, he was.
It's more like either someone ran over his dog, or someone also ran over his cats. So,
dude, don't say that.
Yeah, that's the worst.
It's even worse when they start fighting each other.
Yeah, his cats are crazy. We recorded that podcast and they were fucking with you. That was pretty funny.
Like the one was like chilling by me, and then
yeah.
Can't remember he
one was sitting by your head, and then the other one started fighting the other one right by your head. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
This was a good match, though. You guys get now that we said it earlier. Now that the stage is moved, you guys where you and Kayden sit in the front there, get all the good spot like diving spots because of how the stage is set up. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, for those who don't know, because we haven't really got to explain it yet, if you've ever at least been to AIW, this will really help. But it was basically kind of set up like Clash of Champions or some of the ECW pay-per-views, to where you had the entranceway, and then there was a ramp that went straight to the center of the ring on the one side. And then this kind of took away a lot of your room for people to dive. So what they did is the opposite of that side of the ring was opened up a little bit more. So you were able to have a lot more of those type of, jumping out of the ring spots, and happened to be right in front of me. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah,
the moonsault, the huge moonsault from Philly Collins was nuts. That was right in front of you guys. That shit was crazy. Shout to that dude, because that was bonkers.
That might have been on our Instagram stories. Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. I think the only match that I didn't put out videos for, and it was on purpose, was the main event. Because I love doing the videos, but at the same time, since I'm not getting paid for it or whatever, I kind of want to just enjoy the show. So I was like, you know what, this main event's going to be something, so I'm going to take that away from that. If you want to see it, Kayden eventually did put out GIFs. I don't know if he put out any videos from it. And then, of course, you can go to Smart Mark Video and buy this show, which I do want to buy this show. Whether I'm going to buy a physical copy or not, I haven't fully decided yet. But
yeah, I like to buy the Blu-rays just because then I can watch it wherever. I haven't figured out how to watch I bought 2 digital copies of stuff, and I haven't really figured out how to like I want to watch it on a plane, or like I haven't figured out how to do it the right way to my Mac, so I like to buy the physical copies and just watch it on my laptop. But I'll definitely be buying the Blu-ray of Absolution 13. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got the download today. It's I sent it over to my son, and it's definitely worth the purchase.
I wish there was a Smart Mark Video app. I really love digital copies right now, so I can just like sit down and like point and click. It's one of my biggest complaints about watching New Japan. I can't point and click and watch it on my Roku as easy as I could.
Don't they have an app on Roku now? I thought New Japan does. I think.
How old? I haven't checked in a little while. But I didn't think they did. They have.
I'm almost positive it's on that or Amazon, the Fire Stick or something. They have an app where you can use.
Yeah, it's Fire Stick. There's Fire Stick and iPhone, but only if it's on Chromecast, I think. Like, or you can download an Android one, but it only works on Chromecast. There is a workaround, but I don't like that it's not as easy to use. Like, there's a app that I have where I can, cast anything to my Roku. Like, no matter what it is, I can pull up any video online, and it grabs the feed for it and projects it to my Roku. The only problem is, like, the thing that really gets me about Powerbomb is the fact that, it's literally like I turn on the app, and then I just, click through things. So it's that conveniency.
Powerbomb only works for me if I press play and let it go. If I try to do any scrubbing at all, it just buffers out and then won't ever play again.
I mean, Powerbomb does have some issues. Like, I don't know if they fixed this, but I went to go watch, I think it was Forgot About Dre, the show with Booker T. And when I went to go watch it, it was House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, I did see that. It was mixed up with the wrong show or whatever. I saw that one.
Which was fine because I was like, ooh, really cool. Because I was actually just watching it for the promos that I never get to see. Because I don't buy physical copies all that often anymore. Nothing is just buying them. It's just having money for it. So that was the biggest thing I was getting out of it. And I think, what was it? I forget who they start off with. And I'm like, what? Oh, I think they may start with Dom. And it's outside, and I could tell it's right behind Tequila Jacks. Or Music Links, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, why would they record a promo for a different show? Like, wait a minute. And then I come to realize, like, because I think Dom mentions his match versus Jimmy Rave. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is fucking House of the Rising Sun. And I watch more promos, and yep, it's House of the Rising Sun. But I got a huge kick out of that. Especially with some of the people and everything that was on that particular show. But yeah, the next episode was the show right after it. So, you had Kurt Hertz on the show, which I don't know the last time we've even seen Kurt Hertz. Colby Red versus Derek Direction at that time. And that was obviously before the production for either of them. Colby Durst defended his Alpha Male title versus Shane Saber. PB Smooth versus Matt Justice. Jimmy Rave, who was only did 1 or 2 AIW shows. And then the main event was Alex Daniels versus Space Monkey. Just
wow.
Little over a year later, and it's weird how that looks too. And also, it started off with Ryan.
Feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah, it's like I forgot how great Ryan Kaplan's promos are, because he's just like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. And then he goes against freaking Trey Lamar. He fucks up Trey Lamar so bad.
Dude, I have a funny story about Trey Lamar from that. I know we're way off topic, but this was right after Trey Lamar had a handful, 2 or 3 matches at that point, and Kaplan did the his split-legged moonsault, and he had to do it twice because the first one he didn't get, and he destroyed Trey with both of them. So Trey comes around the bar, and I looked at him, and I didn't know the kid, so I said, I'd like to buy you a drink, but I think you're 12 years old. And he looks at me, and he's like, I'm 19, sir. I'm like, Oh boy. So 19-year-old Trey Lamar calling me sir, making me feel old. But that guy is in a year. So it's come so far from, getting squashed by Kaplan to what he's doing now. So just an aside, but it is.
Yeah, that was, I think that was an interesting show too. There was that that was like the week after WrestleMania, and attendance wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't too great or it took everybody time to trickle in for that one. But
no, nobody was there.
Yeah, okay, then that's what it was. It was just, and also I think IWC ran the same night, and they had a little-known tag team known as the Hardy Boys, who had just returned to WrestleMania and were allowed to fulfill the date by doing a personal appearance, and they brought the belts. I know a good amount of fans, or at least a good handful, went IWC over AIW that night. So back to Duke Money winning over the Worldwide Experience. Any more thoughts on that one?
It was an unfortunate victory for Duke Money. I love Manser and Jock, but Duke's a huge asshole, and I wanted to see him get hit in the head with that guitar, and I'm a little disappointed it didn't happen.
Next up, we had Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan versus Danhausen and Eddie Only of the production, and you had Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan come out first, and then Danhausen and Eddie Only with Derek Director come out and just beat the shit out of Bobby and Eric as they were coming out. So no real introduction from the production, just here comes the young studs. Oh, they're getting the shit beat out of them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that angle of it. The surprise attack's always good. We didn't talk about it too much. I think we went fast over the first match on the second go around, but it was good to see Derek. He got on the match in that 6-way. It was good to see him in this match and in the earlier one. Everyone in the production represented well here on the Absolution card.
Yeah, this was the match that we were a little split on the preview, because I said no blood, and everybody thought that I was from Mars having a match with Eddie and Eric Ryan, and they weren't going to. No shopping carts, no blood. Eric Ryan did take a pretty gross backdrop from Eddie off the ramp. And
right in front of you, wasn't that? Right in front of you? I got
it perfect. I posted that up immediately. That's
the thud. Oh my God.
I'm not quite the level of a Kayden as far as GIFs are concerned, but I managed to figure out how to do that one in a little bit of a loop. And man, you can hear it's probably an overused phrase, but it's like a sickening thud when he hits the ground.
Yeah, I don't know who hurt Eric Ryan, but that dude does some wild shit.
Even Danhausen thought he was going to bleed, because he even said himself that he almost always bleeds at AIW.
Yeah, he mentioned that in the thing about the face paint. You asked him about and he said he painted his face because he thought he was gonna, and then he didn't bleed. He didn't get busted up. So maybe that's his good luck charm, huh?
Luck was definitely on Rick's side for calling that, and for Danhausen not accidentally bleeding.
Yeah, he always bleeds from the nose at AIW. Always.
Did you call that there would only be blood in one match, or just no blood from Eric?
I just, for some reason, I was thinking that it's the old, like WWF booking, where you keep all the blood away until it actually matters. So then you see, later on, and we'll get to it with Dominic and Tom, and that was the blow off to what, equated to be like a year-long blood feud. That's where it had impact. I don't think it would have had as much of an impact in a, not to belittle anybody in this match, but a production versus, young studs match. It's not quite the year-long feud that Dom and Tom Lawler was.
This was good though for no blood. It was hard hitting. Everybody. It was a good match. Eddie was good. That dude's come a long way for only been wrestling like under a year, I think, right? Eddie Only's under a year, right?
Yep. All four of these guys are good, and I hope they all. They all hang around. We've seen Eric Ryan, Bobby Beverly for quite some time. Eddie and Danhausen are pretty new to us. like you said, a year, but man, the production just has legs.
It's crazy to see where we've gone in a year because Eddie Only, he was manning the door for WrestleRager 2 because I remember checking in with him as I walked in, giving my name and everything. And I know he was around before that, but that was not that long, I think, before he started actually wrestling matches. And then obviously probably 6 months or so before he was in the production. So maybe not even less than 6 months after WrestleRager. So, and we'll get into more about the production later on. So, unfortunately for Danhausen and Eddie Only, Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan did pull off the victory and via the Tiger Bomb. Now, this next match was very, very interesting. We didn't see this coming at all. Now, a lot of people were saying that Ethan Page was going to turn on Dr. Dan. He was going to cost him the match. Matt Justice was going to win, and it would be then, Matt Justice getting revenge on Dr. Dan. Basically, AIW said, haha, fuck you. That's not happening. We had freaking Ethan Page purposely got himself disqualified and then continued a beatdown between Dr. Dan and Ethan Page versus Matthew Justice, and then the sirens hit. Out came Scott Steiner to even things up, and then we got a tag match. Matt Justice and Scott Steiner versus All Ego Ethan Page and Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. You can see the whole thing on our Twitter feed at Wrestling Cheers or twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers. I didn't post it out till the Monday after because when it all happened, I did try to tweet it out, but I didn't get the notification that it failed, so it went in my drafts, or went into our drafts. And then I noticed it on Monday, and I went, oh, well, let me tweet it out now. So it's the whole thing of Scott Steiner coming out. You have Ethan Page and Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham leaving the ring, and Scott Steiner cut a promo. He takes a couple digs even at himself. He does the Scott Steiner math, and then I think one of the funniest lines that he had in his promo where he talked about he's going to beat the shit out of them, and then he's going to go home and fuck their girlfriends. Ethan Page mentioned on his podcast about how he said something into the camera about his wife, and of all things, for those who don't know, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham does have a girlfriend who is also a wrestler who was there, and it was her birthday. The funniest tweet that I seen later in the night was from her saying, Scott Steiner says he's gonna fuck me tonight. Worst birthday gift ever or something. That popped me good. That was good.
Yeah, that was really funny. It was weird. Somebody on Twitter said, I forget, I apologize for not giving you credit, whoever said this, but somebody said, last month or a few shows ago, 2 shows ago, Ethan Page said, we're all a family. And then now Ethan Page, fuck you, you're all pieces of shit. It's pretty funny. He turned on us all pretty quick, but I still love Ethan. He's the best.
I mean, Tracy Smothers contradicts himself in a promo. He'll say one thing, and then 5 minutes later he'll go, I'm a heel, he's a face, boo me, cheer him. And then tell us how much he hates Cleveland and how great Tennessee is. Or even, speaking of Powerbomb, watching Double Dare night 1, and I forgot that was right after the World Series, and out comes Tracy Smothers in Cubs garb. It brought back a lot of memories.
It was tremendous.
Yuck.
He's such a heel.
Oh, yeah, you're a Cubs fan, aren't you?
I am a Cubs fan, so my apologies.
Hey, do I get half a point, right? Because I said Dr. Dan was gonna take the Steiner spot. That's kind of half right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. He took the brunt of the Scott Steiner onslaught.
I think once the Duke had his match and it wasn't him, it was pretty much there was almost nobody else. And then as soon as Scott Steiner came, or I should say, as soon as the beatdown started happening on Matt Justice, it's okay, this is the moment for Scott Steiner. Then obviously that was going to be the moment. Dr. Dan adds to his repertoire of getting his ass beat by famous wrestlers.
It was really good. AIW does a great job of bringing interesting people in and then also doing something interesting with them. Because I'm not like paid to take a picture with wrestler guy. I'm probably not going to ever do a lot of the meet and greets. But it's cool to see these guys like get in and do stuff. The Steamboat thing was really awesome when he beat the shit out of that piece of shit, the Duke. The Steiner thing again was really great. I like what AIW does with bringing in the special guests. It's a lot of fun.
AIW kind of had me a little swerved before the meet and greet. I see Steiner over there, and he's got his ball cap on, and he's got the sunglasses. And I know the sunglasses is a Steiner thing, but I'm like, man, all I wanted was a picture with Steiner. I wanted, 2007 chainmail Steiner with his whole, and he goes through the whole thing. Fast forward to a couple hours later, the sirens hit, and out we get, WCW, TNA, whatever you want to call him, chainmail Steiner, ready to rip somebody apart. And thankfully, that just happened to be Dr. Dan on this night.
Going back to what Patrick said, I think it's kind of funny to find out who's on like what side of getting autographs or pictures and all that kind of fun stuff. I like it. I did hear a podcast recently talk about it, and I kind of disagreed with them a little bit on that. Like I like getting autograph pictures of wrestlers that I like or people in general that I like. Some of which, but not as nearly as many as I think. I only have like one or two that are even framed. But a lot of times it's for a reason. I like them. I kind of collect them, but I don't go to like too many extreme odds for it.
I have a couple, but they're all like current people. Like I'm not a big like superstars or like people from the past guy. Like if I get an 8x10 or something, I want to give a wrestler some money. Here 8x10 they're cheap, $10. They sign it for you. So I have a handful of those, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'm just not going to stand in line and pay $100 to get 'cause some of them are expensive. Some of those meet and greets are crazy. Hogan was just here. Somebody told me Thorne tweeted. I think they said $150 for a picture with Hulk Hogan. No thanks.
Yeah, it's about Hogan and Austin. I mean, you can't even sniff those guys for under $100.
I think it
Stone Cold maybe, but that'd probably be the only one I'd even think about $100 with, and that maybe be literally the only one. And I'm only thinking about it. I'm not even saying yes I would, but the Rattlesnake maybe.
I think it definitely depends on the type of fan you are and like what wrestler it is. Like I know I paid $100 for a picture and autograph with Shawn Michaels, but that's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I paid
that Shawn, yeah.
But also that was
Shawn
more than
Michaels.
just a picture. That was a picture and an autograph. Then I forget how much I paid to meet Bret Hart. That was one of my higher ones, but like it's never been that much. Like I don't think I've ever gone for the really big, especially like a WrestleCon, where it's like, oh, you could meet for these people. Granted, outside of wrestling, I did pay $500 or $600 to get a picture and autographs from two people from Doctor Who. But part of that was actually, it was at a Comic-Con, so that cost X amount of money. And then I paid for their version of the Fast Pass, to where I'm in a line first before everybody else. So it was more or less, I want to get in and out quicker, so I'm going to pay more. But they've never offered that at wrestling shows.
It was like if you bought
okay.
It was like if you bought a ticket for $20 and then all the fees and everything got you up to $500.
To me, it's worth it. But they're also, they were British actors. I'll probably never run across meeting them at both ever again. They're both two of my favorite people from Doctor Who from when they were on. So it is what it is. But I know there's people out there that are way more like. Ironically enough, I just read he's not doing anything anymore. But like Stan Lee, I swear one time, if you want to get the same deal for him, it was like $1,000, and like that's a lot.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm okay with it if it's to me that's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. It's one thing. It's some of these guys are you're going to see them 6 times, 7 times during a year. I'm not chasing down photos or whatever. I'm more of if I'm going to buy something from a guy, I'll buy an 8x10 for my kid or buy T-shirts. I'm not a collector at all though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spend money on T-shirts mostly, especially because I get so hammered at AIW. I'll be like, I'm just buy another T-shirt. I waste ridiculous money. It's great.
I think I walked out of that show. I think I bought 3 shirts.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought Derek Director. My bad. Bought the Burly Boy shirt. I bought the new Magnum CK shirt, and I bought another version of the Banana Club because it's technically a different shirt than what I had before, different design. So I was like, all right, I'll buy another one. And he made sure he had a size for me. So I was like, I walked out spending freaking already $60 just on that, and I did do the Scott Steiner thing. And normally I'm because I know there are people out there like almost every show they're getting the special meet and greets. To me, like I have to have some sort of connection with them, or I'm like I gotta think it's really cool to get a picture with them. Like I'm not a huge Scott Steiner fan, like from his original run, but like that whole lore of all his promos and everything. Like I've had a good amount of friends where like we've had Scott Steiner jokes. So I was like, I'll get a picture with him. And yeah. Like I'm trying to figure out there's got to be someone where I was just like, like when Vader came, I was like, he was cool, but I'm like I was never huge into Vader.
It'd be really cool if you could do a meet and greet with Vader, and he would do a pose where he let you like pretend like he was ripping his eye out, like that match where he got his eye poked out. That'd be tight.
I skipped Malenko too. I was like I was young. I just don't remember a lot of Malenko stuff, and then I'm there with a 12-year-old who's.
The 12-year-old wasn't familiar with the man of 1,000 holds?
No, not so much.
You haven't been making him do his homework there, Rick?
Yeah. I do what I can. He likes the indie guys, and I'm shocked at the fact that when I ask him, who do you like, that he doesn't go right to, the big names. He's an Ambrose guy. He likes that kind of stuff. He likes the little more subdued. Of course, man, he loves all the production guys. All those guys are just so freaking cool. They're just such nice dudes that it's hard to dislike any of them.
On a side note, Patrick, you can turn off the video on your call.
My bad. I didn't know what I did. I wasn't showing. I was like, it wasn't showing video on my screen. My bad.
I don't know. I just look and I see a forehead. I actually thought it was Rick, and then I kind of looked at the hair. I'm like, I think that's Patrick. It actually moved my cursor over something, and it said your name. I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Just my stupid face staring back at you.
Well, it was your forehead for most of it. Anyway, that was the end of the first half of the show, and I haven't got to do this yet on the show, but let's go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name. And my name is Alex Worldwide Keller. And now you know Wrestling Cheers Worldwide.
You wake up every morning, get yourself out of bed, and look in the mirror, and realize that you don't recognize the person looking back at you. You don't feel as whole as you should. You feel about half empty. You get in your car and go about your daily activities, and you think about all the opportunities that you missed. Opportunities you didn't take. Doors you left closed instead of open. You think about all the things that you could have done and the things that you chose to do instead. Well, that's where I come in. My name is Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and I am not only a motivational speaker, but I am a personal development coach, and my 3-principle system has changed the lives of countless people all over the world. I invite all of you to stay with me today and listen as I help you change your lives and give all of you a new beginning.
What's up, everybody? This is Alex Worldwide Keller coming to you live here for Thrift Store. Wait, it's not Thrift Store, driver? Wait a minute. Wrestling who? Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name. I know my name. It's Alex, Worldwide Killer, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers. And I want to tell you all about Wrestling Cheers t-shirts at whatamaneuver.net. It's a heck of a shirt because where everybody knows your name, and wrestling is a game, and the game is pain. And pain is what we feel, and what we feel, it's real. Whatamaneuver.net, Wrestling Cheers, do it up for your boy, Alex, Worldwide Killer.
All right, baby, this is Old Master right here. King of Big Dog Style, Master of the Pop-Up Headbutt, King of the Trailer Court, the Southern Psycho, right here. Y'all listen to Wrestling Cheers. You dummy if you ain't paying attention. Listen, subscribe, like, share, all that business, baby. Old Master right now. I'm going to drink some light beers.
Yes, we are back. Yes, that was commercials. And last episode, or last preview episode, we threw those in, and I had to edit them in all by myself. No cuts or anything, which is good feedback. So shout out to Alex Worldwide Keller for throwing us together, or at least giving me the audio back at fucking death row. He gave me those, and I finally put it together. And of course, a shout out to Dr. Dana C. Rockingham, and you can get your life together by the 3 simple letters. But anyway, let's move on to the second half of the show. And this second half of the show was good. No knock against the first half, but you had the last 4 matches, 3 title matches, and a fucking grudge match that's gone over for over a year. Like, this was fucking great. So we start things off with the old school versus new school that's been going on for a while. No consequences. Joshua Bishop, Trey Lamar, Gary the King Baller, and AJ Gray and Chase Oliver versus Josh Prohibition, To Infinity and Beyond, and the Jollyville Fuckets. Oh God, this didn't necessarily go the way we thought it would, or at least I didn't think. I thought it would be that the No Consequences finally gets the win, but no, it's the old school team, Josh Prohibition, Jollyville Fuckets, and To Infinity and Beyond, Josh Prohibition with the drunken driver to Joshua Bishop on the chair. And what a way to start off the second half of the show.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. The pounce, too. T-Money pounced Trey Lamar into the ring. I know last year I think he pounced him out of the ring at Absolution. This year he ran down that big ramp and pounced him into the ring, and that was freaking nuts. But this match was, it was a hard-hitting, it was a good time.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about the match. I was on a little bit of a Scott Steiner hangover, I think. But it didn't go the way we thought, at the end. I think a few of us said that maybe it was time to break up No Consequences. And I think, Prohibition finally gave Bishop his due, the veteran respect, I guess maybe the passing the torch or whatever you want to call it at the end of this one.
It was at least an end to the feud. It's now going to go on with No Consequences going in a different direction. Maybe they upload it on themselves. Maybe they go after different teams. Maybe they go for the tag titles. Who knows? As of this recording, no match has been announced for WrestleRager for them. Hopefully we get Joshua Bishop versus Wes Barkley. We'll see. I really want it. But let's move on to the first title match of the evening. The AIW Intense title in a ladder match. Tim Donst versus Joey Janela. Oh, fuck. This... yeah.
Oh, my God. It was... whew.
It's easy to say these last 4 matches are contenders for match of the night.
Yeah, I could have saw this one even going on last. Just because it was just... That was carnage, man. It was pure chaos from start to finish. Yeah, I can't believe you fucking cheered for Tim Donst. That was total horseshit. But yeah, what are you gonna do? We discussed that earlier on the last podcast in length, so I won't beat a dead horse. But you can't believe you rooted for Timmy.
You were rooting against Timmy, and Timmy took offense.
Yeah, he was mad at me. He voiced his displeasure with me later in the evening at Funhouse, but Yeah, I did. I said fuck you. I gave double middles. Yep. I had to. It's wrestling. You're not going to root for both people. You got to pick one guy and go with it. And I've been backing the bad boy for a while. That's my guy. So, what are you going to do? There was some insane shit that happened in this match. So I don't know how much of it you want to list off or talk about, but there was some insane spots. How many? I think they broke four or five ladders, broke 2 tables,
broke each other's backs,
multiple chairs.
Freaking, what was it? Was it Janela? That for a second was like putting everything upside down. He had the chairs that he was piling up with the feet up. You had a table
standing upwards. Yeah, that was the pile of shit.
A table on the outside with the legs pointing up. I was figuring the next step was to take a ladder and put it with the legs pointing up.
Dude, it was crazy. That shit was crazy. When he did the double stomp off the ladder onto the chairs that you're describing that were piled with the feet upwards was totally fucked. I mean, which spot do you think was the craziest? Because there was like 4 or 5 literally that were fucking just crazy. The power bomb, he power bombed Don through the ladder. That was fucking crazy. Don's Death Valley driver him off the ramp that we're talking about through the hard table on the side. That was insanity. Janela got flipped over onto the ladder that was on top of the table off to the outside of the ring. That was right in front of me in Thrift Store on the side. That was fucking insane. And then he took the superplex onto the chair, ladder, table contraption. That was, I don't even know how you rank those.
I was about to say that one, what I call the TLC spot, because you had all 3 right there. What was it? Was it table, and then a ladder on its side, and then a chair on top?
Yeah.
Yep. That ladder wasn't going to break like that. The chair wasn't going to break like that. You would get the table to break. That's the one that had to hurt. And I do want it like that was that one of the last spots?
Yeah, that's what won it for Don's. He superplexed him onto that, which was fucked because Janela, he got superplexed into the chairs, and then as the chairs fell off the table and both of that, Janela hits his head on the back of the table and then bumps onto the chairs again down on the ring. And then Don's puts the fucking ladder over top of him and then climbs the other ladder and got the belt. But they almost made something of it. He almost knocked him off. He was like hanging for a while. That was pretty nuts.
And that ended Joey Janela's 371-day title reign.
I could say that was the craziest match I've ever seen live, for sure.
Yeah, that was absolutely fucking nuts. I'm trying to pull up. The cool thing about Cage Match is to the rankings. And according to Cage Match, that tied his reign with one semi-known wrestler named Tyler Black for the 3rd longest intense title reign.
Yeah, I think Wadsworth tweeted out all the a bunch of those the next day. Shout out to Matt Wadsworth, AIW statistician / co. What is his title?
AIW president.
President, okay.
I don't know if he gets everything from cagematch.net. I believe he does listen. He'll probably tell us whether he gets it from that or his own records, but I know that it's really easy to pull from that, and right now Tim Donst is really low on the title reign ladder. No pun intended. They do.
That was crazy though. Like I said, I'm not a super long vet of AIW, so I can't,
Yeah.
But that was the craziest match I have ever seen. It was fucking awesome. Aside from the finish, obviously.
The only stat that I know they have wrong here, clearly, they have BJ Whitmer down as less than 1 day title reign, but his reign goes from July 1st, 2012 to August, they don't have a date written, 2013, so it went over a year. So we'll see where Tim Donst lands coming on the title reigns for the Intense title. I'm happy he's champion, but it has nothing to do with the beef with Joey Janela. I feel like his title reign has not been very enjoyable. Which actually, I think I can pull up all his matches on here via the title reign, and it'll tell me how many titles.
Well, I mean, he has his absolute shot. You know, he won J-Lit, so we'll see what the future holds for him. And maybe if he gets a shot at the absolute title, he can make that run a little bit more memorable for you.
He had 6. No, I take that back. He had 5 title matches, not counting when he won last year at Absolution. I
really liked the Glacier match. I know people weren't like, that wasn't like the greatest, but he fucking broke his finger and shit. But I liked that match. It was cool to see that dude back. And
yeah.
I mean, the dude broke his finger and then wrestled for another like 10 or 15 minutes. So I don't know. What
really might have killed it, his title reign, or at least made it not as interesting. Because I know he did. He had a couple shows where he's booked in England. He's a very popular guy, but his first title defense was against Glacier, and then against Sanjay Dutt, but then he went up against Jimmy Jacobs. Something tells me that Janela and Jacobs were supposed to have a longer feud, because I want to say that's when Jacobs got injured.
He got hurt.
Yeah,
Jimmy Jacobs got hurt in the match.
Yeah, Jacobs' match was crazy.
So I think that was supposed to go on longer, and then his next title defense was that We've Got a Dilemma against DJZ, and he hasn't defended the title since, up until Abso.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. He was gone for a minute, but I mean, I'm sure he's not cheap to book too. So
Janela's in demand.
Oh, he's definitely in demand, but now he's has the J-Lit trophy. He can cash it in whenever. And I did receive a message from AIW management, not necessarily confirming that it was a comment on the podcast, but it was said that normally in AIW, the faces do the noble thing and announce their cash in, and heels do it whenever they want. That necessarily, in my own opinion, didn't answer what Janela would do, because
right?
He is a bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, that's
totally
a good point.
Totally open for interpretation. So we'll see what he does. Spoiler alert: he did not do what we thought he would do at the end of the night, but we still don't have a match for anybody in particular for WrestleRager.
And you got to think too. Back to the point though, real fast. He said about he hadn't defended it since the Dilemma show. He did. They had Gauntlet and then J-Lit, so 2 sort of tournament styles. And with J-Lit, what do you give you 4 matches in 2 days? I mean, that was. I know they weren't title defenses, but like the dude puts in his work, man. Like I don't know. I thought it was a good run. I was glad to see him every time he was there.
Happy to see him, but. Like I said, since there was no title defense then, he could have had a title defense at Gauntlet, but I think that's when he was in England, and that's what started his feud with Donst.
Yeah. Yep. Which was good. I liked how Donst came out. I thought they built that pretty good. I would have liked to maybe see one more show in between and maybe have him come out, like do a run-in or something like that, but I still thought it was built pretty good for Abso. And the way that they didn't announce that it was a ladder match and just kind of crapped him into the graphic, and then those two literally fucking murdered each other. I thought it really delivered. And he had to lose the belt to get a chance at the Absolute, right? I mean, I don't see them putting 2 belts on somebody, so he kind of had to lose, in my opinion, I guess, to go upward.
Joey 2 belts?
That would be great. I don't see Thorne doing that just because it's not really... I don't know. I couldn't see him doing that. It doesn't seem like his style, but I would love it. You know me. I'm sure Ed Battis is making fun of me right now, saying something, making fun of me of some sort.
I don't know. He hates Don, so
he just loves to make fun of me and Janela. That's all. So he's probably listening right now, making a joke to himself. Is all.
He likes to make jokes about everybody.
That's why we love him.
Like, what was it? I think he tried to call me out saying that I've done more.
He called you a flip flopper or something.
Yeah, more flip flops than the Big Show, and I forget what was it on. Like my opinion on Janela or somebody or Don's, and I'm like, what? Like I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm like, show me. I think I said something along the lines like, show me your proof or like give me examples, and he didn't respond back. So
I think he just thinks of funny jokes and has to use them whether it's true or not. He's funny.
Yeah, because I've told him like, okay, like prove this to me, and like he never responds, or he's just like, oh, I was just saying, I was talking shit. So Tim Donst, the new AIW Intense champion. I was very pleased by this, but like I said, it's nothing against.
Do you think he'll defend it at WrestleRager? Do you think they'll give him a match already?
I hope so, because I mean, Donst doesn't miss many shows, so I'd figure he's going to have a match. It would be kind of cool to see a rematch for the title, and then
he's also known. He's done deathmatch type stuff for WrestleRager as an outdoor show, so
yeah.
I would assume he'd maybe be one of the guys. There's a short list of guys that I'm guessing is taking light tubes in AIW, and I'm sure he's probably close to the top of that list. So, which I do have a bunch. I know Rick said he had some light tubes. I also have a little stash of tubes that I'm bringing on August 25th to the WrestleRager 3.
Get your tickets now.
Also,
I
would say buy your tickets for Escape from Cleveland. That's next on my list. I think it's going to be like WrestleRager last year, where I have the show after it bought before I buy WrestleRager.
Yeah, that's how it's all been lately. Anymore, when they sell tickets, when they put tickets on sale, I just buy them. It just works easier that way.
So, moving on to a grudge match, freaking Dominic Garrini versus Filthy Tom Lawler in a dog collar match.
I was a little surprised we didn't see the black canvas apron for this one.
No, we did mess up the a nice blue one.
Yeah, they put some red on there for sure.
I wonder if this means they'll be buying another canvas.
I think Thorne said on the podcast that they were that he had a new one coming, and to hell with the old one. Or I heard that through the grapevine, maybe.
I'll never forget when they bought the new, or at least the newer one, because there was the one black one for the long time with duct tape on it, and it was just such a beat up canvas. And then they finally got a new one. You walked in, it was just like, oh my god, look, that's a real canvas. There's no duct tape on it. Oh my god.
What was it last year at Absolution, where it was so hot in there that there was so much sweat and water all over the vinyl? Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Yelled out, "I'm not going to wrestle until somebody cleans this mess up."
Yeah, the last year was bad. That's one thing we somewhat mentioned it. It wasn't extremely hot, and it also wasn't. It didn't rain. It was kind of a perfect weather for the show. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, we got super lucky for all aspects of the day.
So we had Dominic Garrini and Filthy Tom Lawler, and yeah, like this shit got bloody. There were some weapons used that Kayden threw together, like poppers on a bat, poppers on a board, and Dom's feet went right into it. This was the match that we had blood.
Real quick, shouts to Young Ed, who called it. Lawler did come out with a furry head on again in some sort of throne chair, which my fiance asked where the fuck they got that chair from. Like, that looked like a chair that belonged to the church at some point, maybe, but then it also got dumped off the stage and I think, like, cracked. So I'm not sure if it was the church's or not, but Young Ed did call the furry fetish, so points for him for that one.
Dude, like, when that match started, like, I just looked at him like, okay, like, what's it going to be? Like, watching your reaction, or, well, his reaction. And then he comes out, and then he just points at me. He's like, I told you. I fucking told you. And I'm like, yep, you're right, Ed.
Yeah, right. That throne type chair was extra, too. That was it was a good match. It was a long, what'd you say, like a year's long feud? Oh. Finally, it was good. It delivered in every way.
Yeah, Lawler came out dressed like a wolf to Steppenwolf with his two handlers pushing him down the ramp.
God. Fucking nuts. And I would like to say my reverse psychology worked. I picked Filthy Tom Lawler to win, and it was Dom that picked up the victory via referee stoppage.
Yeah, that was Dom finally got the win to finish that off that he was looking for. It was pretty insane. There was a spot where I know you guys said the Poppers was pretty crazy. He had him on a bat, and then they stomped it. He did a double stomp on the Poppers. That was nuts. My favorite spot was when Filthy Tom put Dom's head through the weird clown board and then like fucking kneed him or something through the board. It was great. I loved that very much. Another piece of equipment I think maybe belonged to the church. I don't know if Thorne was real pleased with them using it, but I loved it. It was great. It was great. Seeing him put his head through the hole and then punch him or knee him or whatever he did, I can't remember, but I remember that happening, and it was awesome.
The one part of it that I will remember is the board with the poppers on it. Dominic hit that thing with both feet at the same time, and it sounded like a bomb went off inside the church. It was insane.
Yeah, it was loud. It was the popper thing was crazy. Kayden come up with that? That was interesting.
Yeah, he spent part of the time of the tailgate after he got there, and whoever came bring him the supplies that he needed, just over there like working on it. Absolutely fucking nuts.
There's a great it's probably one of his gifts too, is swinging the bat, and then the bat hits the head and you just see the sparks from the popper right in the hair. It just looks freaking great.
Yeah, there was a superplex through a table too. Well, that was pretty bonkers. They had a chain around their necks while they did that. Like, that was just, yeah, man, that match was, whew.
Next up, we had the AIW Tag Team title match, probably in one of the best spots of the night, right before the main event. PB Smooth and Hornswoggle, the champions, defending against Magnum CK and Frankie Flynn of the production. And, well, if you listen to last week's episode, you know that your new AIW Tag Team champions are the production, and I would not be surprised if the Freebird rule comes into effect with them.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. It's it makes it really fresh, and like, you don't know, there's so many of them. It's great. It's who knows who's going to defend what here or there. There's so many possibilities with them, and they're all just really good at what they do. So no matter who's in there or defending it or whatever portion of it, you're going to get entertained. It's going to be a good match. So I'm glad for them. I'm happy for those guys. It's interesting to see how far they've come in just a year. Magnum CK and those capes, man, that guy, he's impressive.
I'm really anxious to see with the Freebird, if they do the Freebird role. I could just see, Magnum going for the Intense title or the Absolute title, and that frees him up so he can, he can pursue something else and tag in Eddie or Danhausen or the director, to defend those titles. I think afterwards there's, photos, a little impromptu photo shoot, and each one of the 5 members of the production posing with one of the tag team titles. It kind of tells you, or at least gives you a little bit of an idea how they feel about it as a group.
It's another story that is over a year long in the storytelling. I don't know if we'll see twins together again, or at least not in the immediate future. What I was be able to tell from the end of that match, or after the production walked out, it was Hornswoggle kind of like giving it up for PB Smooth. Like, hey, like whenever there's clapping, like he just kind of like pointed to him, and it almost seemed like it's the end of the tag team. It's a mutual breakup, but PB Smooth could also be another wrestler who's on to bigger and better things. Maybe he goes for the Intense title. Maybe he goes for the Absolute title. I think both are possibilities. Imagine Tim Donst versus PB Smooth.
I could definitely see it. What if we got a PB Smooth death match?
You will not see PB Smooth in a death match.
PB Smooth might listen to this and he might be cussing you out.
Why?
Smooth?
I don't book the matches. I'm just saying.
I want him versus AJ Gray. I've said that a million times. I'm not going to get into it, but just them in a death match. Do it.
I know I saw AJ said he would do one, but now then I also thought I heard him say he's done wrestling now.
Yeah, we talked about that, and supposedly it's November, but it could very much be one of those things. November comes and he changes his mind. I don't know. We'll see come December, January, February, and March if it all came to be true.
I hope he changes his mind. I like that guy. I would like to see him do single stuff, like break off from No Consequences if they ever have their little break off or whatever it becomes of that. I would like to see that dude do single stuff, or maybe him and one other guy tag. I think he's good. I like him. I don't know.
It kind of took me back to, if AJ Gray does go, I was watching, like I said, I was watching Double Dare, and I was at day one. You see AJ Gray working the bar that he was doing. I never really go buy beer, so I never ran into him that way. So it's cool to like notice him in the crowd that way. And then I'm not 100% sure there was PB Smooth. I think he was in the he was guarding the door. He was doing that for a while, and I want to say that was before his debut, or that was right. Okay, that was right after his debut. And I remember he was always guarding the one door by the bar. And I remember when I was told about PB Smooth by Chandler Biggins, he was just like, yeah, that tall guy that is always guarding the one door. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, he's a wrestler and all this kind of stuff. And he would hit me with, he's 7 foot tall and you can't teach that type thing that Biggins would do. But that's something that I kind of thought of because that was, early back when he was doing that. Now, PB Smooth is AIW regular, selling merch, wrestling the matches. So I think it might be back to singles career for PB Smooth. And that would obviously be no way of a demotion, so.
I wouldn't think so.
No. And then, this sort of last match, the main event of the evening, Nick fucking Gage versus Tracy Williams for the AIW Absolute Championship. And, freaking, of course, Kayden doesn't write what happens when title changes happen. He just writes that there's new champions. He doesn't write the exact finish of the match, but simply put, our new champion.
It was a crossface, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, crossface it was.
Tracy Williams, the new AIW Absolute Champion. Well-deserved, well over a year in the making. I think after we tweeted out that result, there was just nothing but people tweeting back or whatever saying like it's deserved. Like it's finally happened. It's weird though. I do know a couple of people that they don't like Nick Gage. I have had one friend, and I won't call him out, but said that he believes he's an unsafe worker, and I'm like, I don't know. That's just what he comes off as. He seems to be a pretty safe worker.
Nah, Gage is professional as professional can be.
I mean,
I don't know how to wrestle, so I'm not going to pretend I do. It all looks like it hurts to me, so I can't really comment on that.
I mean, he came over and gave us hugs, so he's a good guy.
Oh, yeah. MDK, dude, we're definitely part of the gang. That's my man.
Dude, when he gets out of the ring and, runs towards you for a hug, that's one of the most scariest things in the world. Because
Hell yeah, dude.
The intensity that he does it, it's not like, I'm going to go hug these guys. Like, he's just fucking pumped. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Part of the gang, dude. He fucking hugs the shit out of you.
It's like,
Eastern Cell Block.
Hey, Club. Oh, my God. That takes me back to early in his title reign. When he cut his promos, and you just have people, heckling him or just trying to talk shit. Like, you're not a fucking gang. Shut up. It's fun. I love Nick Gage, but...
Oh, he's definitely in a gang.
It'll be interesting to see where Nick Gage goes from here. I've heard word that he might be out for a little while for an injury, surgery, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if he's at WrestleRager, we'll see. If he's at, any show after that, we'll see too. But I'm also interested to see where we're going to go with Tracy Williams as champion.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to do with Gage now that if he's not going to be in the absolute title picture. He definitely doesn't seem like a scramble guy that you just throw in there. Or maybe he could be, I don't know, you have all these people come out, and then Gage's music hits. I mean, that could be fun. Or, people have a match, you could have some run-ins with Gage. That could be fun just to kind of change it up. It's going to be interesting where they go with Gage. I agree.
Yeah, I just don't think we're going to see him for a while.
I don't know if this is true, but I'm at cagematch.net, and I'm looking at the recent title reigns for the Absolute title. And I don't know if this has been mentioned, but 3 title reigns in a row. Josh Prohibition, Tim Donst, and Nick Gage, all 245 days each.
So that's one Absolution to Absolution minus 1 show, probably. Winning it the show after Absolution, losing it Absolution.
You had Josh Prohibition win, I believe, a Gauntlet for the Gold, and
that's only about 8 months.
Yeah, it had to be Gauntlet because it's. Oh no! I'm reading that wrong. I'm a dumbass. He won it at Absolution, lost it at Gauntlet for the Gold, and then Donst obviously won a Gauntlet for the Gold, lost it at Hell on Earth. Gage was Hell on Earth to Absolution. Ironically enough, too, that's all of AIW's big shows. All but Jaylit, but I'm saying, like, Josh Prohibition went from Absolution, big show, to Gauntlet, big show. Same with Donst, Gauntlet for the Gold to Absolution. Yeah, so. And then before that, Ethan Page actually had a very close, only off by a little less than a week, off by 7 days. He went from Hell on Earth to Abso. 238 days. So is it safe to say that Tracy Williams is going to hold, according to this trend, it's not necessarily going to happen. Does that mean he's going to hold it till Gauntlet for the Gold?
Not now that you said something.
Well, yeah. Before that, it was a 140-day reign by one Ricochet and Page. And then before that, ironically enough, a 140-day reign from Josh Alexander.
Real quick, you said RSP, so I just got to ask, did either of you see the motherfucking spot that him and Jimmy Havoc did, the Canadian Destroyer onto those tables and chairs, and the blood went fucking spraying out of RSP's head?
Jesus Christ, yes, I saw it.
Dude, that was bonkers.
That was fantastic. You could not... Everybody was, hey, did you fake this? Did you, how did he do... And he's responding back, well, how in the world would I fake this? I don't have a, that's like a freaking movie, that's a once in a freaking lifetime thing that you'll see. I've never seen that before. I'm not a big deathmatch guy, but, maybe you guys can speak on, you would say just a spray, a shower of blood, just up in the air. It was crazy.
Perfect timing, perfect angle for the light. Just like you see it plain as day. It squirts like a geyser. It was nuts. It was crazy. Some guy saw Ricky retweeted, a couple other people retweeted it too. Some guy said, oh yeah, so stupid, risk your life for a spot no one's going to remember Monday morning. Well, spoiler alert, it's Tuesday, and I still remember that, and I'm going to remember that next Tuesday too, because that was fucking crazy.
That's the weird stupidity of wrestling fans, and sometimes too it's from people of I want to say vets who maybe didn't really make it amount to anything, or they're just stuck in the Jim Cornette type thinking, which I get people are going to be like that, but there's some people like they hate deathmatch wrestling, and I'm like, okay, I get it, it's not for you, but one of the greatest things about professional wrestling nowadays is it's become just a smorgasbord of different ways to do it. Like, okay, like you don't get deathmatch wrestling, cool, but I don't 100% sure if I would knock it, because hell, technically there's a couple deathmatch wrestlers who've made it way farther than most. So I don't know. When I see my own personal pet peeve, when I see any former wrestler or former promoter or current wrestler who's, or even promoter that's been doing it for a long time, bitch about current things, I just roll my eyes and I go, shut up. I don't care.
Yeah, with the internet, you're going to have people giving their opinion no matter what. So I just kind of take all that stuff with a grain of salt. I like what I like, and, oh, well, it is what it is, I sort of say.
Yeah, there's always going to be people who don't like this and don't like that, but there's so much out there right now. You can get access to a million different products. You just got to keep weeding through until you get what you like. There's no use in shitting on what you don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about almost anything. It's something actually I tweeted today about, love what you love, like don't care about what anybody thinks. I believe I picked up that type of thinking from being a juggalo when I was a teenager. If you're a juggalo, you like ICP, you like Twisted, you like all of them, you don't care what anybody thinks. I feel like that type of thinking is something that I pulled out of all of that. Like, okay, there's bands and wrestlers and wrestling and just any type of thing that like I know I like, but the next person might not like. And to me, I'm going to go, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. And if you like something I don't like, that's perfectly fine too. Like, it's really shitty when you look at it. When people like hate on you for something that makes you happy, it's like, why would you? I don't understand why you do that. If it makes me happy and it's not affecting you, what does it matter?
Speaking of things that I hated Nick Gage tapping out. Hated Nick Gage tapping out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and think that that MRSA in his elbow was still affecting him, and that's why he wasn't 100%. But he's MDK, so he had to defend it anyways. He's not gonna back down. So
that's true. It's just I think I said, Pat, I probably said it to you after the show. This guy takes light tubes and barbed wire and broken glass, and God knows there's probably some kind of lemon juice and open cuts death match that I don't know about. But then he taps out to a crossface. I didn't get it. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy for Tracy Williams. My kid loves Tracy Williams. It's just not the way I saw it going and not the way I wanted it to go.
Yeah, I agreed. I agreed that night we talked about it. But I guess now after thinking about it, I'm going to go with that's how strong Hot Sauce is. His fucking crossface is that bad that it makes the fucking king, Nick Gage, tap. So that's where we're going forward with our absolute champion. I mean, I guess that's just, that's how I'm taking it.
It did suck to see, Nick Gage lose the title, but he'll either get back at it or, maybe we won't see him for a little while. And, when he comes back, we know it's MDK all day. So I do think with Tracy Williams, it's something that is very well deserved. It's a story that's been going on in AIW for about a year and a half. We want to talk about all these matches with, great storytelling, over the past year or so with, the production and PB Smooth or Dominic Greeny and Filthy Tom Lawler. The little bit we had with, Donst and Janelle, I mean, that only goes back so many months. But Tracy Williams' chase for the title started when Donst was champion, and he kept getting screwed over. And no matter what, he never lost against Donst. It was someone else in the match. They were the ones getting pinned. They were the ones submitting. Any time he had a one-on-one match, he got screwed over, or he did get beat by Gage, but it was shown to be a close match that at the end of the match, Nick Gage shook Tracy Williams' hand, and that's not something he does all the time.
Right, and that's like I said, Absolution last year, he lost the 4-way, so it wasn't him, like you said. And then, we saw the match with Gage was a close match. And then they had the tag match, him and Lawler versus Gage. And who was his tag partner? Shit, why am I blanking? There was the tag match, and Hot Sauce lost to Gage in that one. And now he finally had what it take to beat him. And you said it was about a year's worth of telling that for Hot Sauce?
Talking about Gage and Lawler versus Dom and Tracy.
Yeah, that was the team, sorry. Gage and Lawler versus Tracy and Dom. Good call.
So I'm definitely happy for Tracy Williams. Do you have anything else to add to that, Rick?
No, I'm happy that, it was a long time coming, and I think a lot of us saw it. the writing on the wall that eventually Tracy Williams was going to take the title. It's just not the finish that I expected.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Janela to come out, too. I'm surprised that there was nothing, especially now that you said that's what Wadsworth said, that, good guys do the good thing and the bad boys do the bad. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go, especially at the coming shows.
I was looking right behind you, Pat, where you guys were sitting. Janela was actually overtaking pictures with people while the match was finishing. So I was like, you know what? He's got the fanny pack on. I don't think he's taking the fanny pack off.
Yeah, we saw him standing behind us and everything, and we thought there wasn't really a good chance of seeing something. But it was still a great show overall. Like I said, that was my second Absolution, and every show just is better and better. It was overall an A+ in my opinion.
For the record, it wasn't Wadsworth that sent it, but it was someone else in AIW management. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay, my bad.
What were your guys's? What was your grade for Absolution? We'll do letter grade. I'm gonna. God, I want to give it an A+, but I don't always like to give perfect grades. But it's at the very least an A. It's in the A range. Worst, a A-, but I think A+. This was a fun show from top to bottom. How about you, Pat? Trick.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to give it an A+. It was, from everything, from the wrestling on the card was great. There wasn't too many matches. I thought it was a perfect amount of matches. We were out of there earlier. We've had later shows that ended way later. We got out of there at a good time. It wasn't super hot. All the fans acted accordingly. We had a special stage set up. It was great all around. I watch a lot of stuff on Powerbomb. I read a lot of crap on Twitter, wrestling Twitter. Nobody is doing it better than AIW, in my opinion, right now in the Indies. You can book your super indie matches, PWG style stuff, big names all you want. But the stuff that Thorne's booking and the matches and the shows they give you from top to bottom for the price and the people you see, the fun you have, can't beat it. A+.
How about you, Rick?
Yeah, I think top to bottom, this is the best show that I've been to, AIW. It's an A to an A+ for me. Just the variety, too. You got to see a ladder match, and the same night you got to see a dog collar match, and then you saw Gage and Tracy Williams, and you think of Gage as a deathmatch guy, but you got to see a straight up, wrestling match from Gage. So it's, you get to see a little bit of something that you don't expect. There's always surprises, the six-way scramble, Rex Brody and all the guys that unannounced. Space Monkey shows up. Top to bottom, taking into account, the time before, the brand new setup, everything about the show felt like it was the premier event in the company. Everything down to, the AIW students walking around in their, in their Sunday best of clothes, knowing that this is the premier event. This is kind of the, the who's who of independent wrestling. And, I've been to a lot of the smaller shows, and, this one just felt so much bigger than a lot of these other independents. And, Thorne does a great job, and, all those guys there, Dominic and Wadsworth and everybody that's a part of it, they just make it feel special. Yeah, Pedro. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. They just make it feel special.
Big Joe, the guy who does security.
Oh yeah, Big Old Joe and Monsoon, my man with
Monsoon
the
classic.
Yeah, with the snack bar and the variety of whatever bartenders you're going to get on a given night. So, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this. This was an A to an A+ in my book.
I have a feeling everybody else would echo what we've said. I don't think I've heard one complaint about Absolution. I feel like we say that like almost every AIW show, or at least every Absolution, but I think on paper, at least right now, that it seriously might be the best Absolution I've ever been to. And I'm pulling up, last year's Absolution, and I think it was a good card, but I don't know. I feel like maybe there was just more investment with a lot of this going on. When it comes to endings, Absolution 12 will be my favorite with Gage coming out, but top to bottom, this card, 3 title changes. I don't know when that has ever happened. So, I definitely agree. A to A plus. So, all right, let's wrap this show up. And any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go, Patrick?
Nothing. I'm just excited to buy this one on Blu-ray from smartmarkvideo.com. So thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. This is always a good time. Love talking AIW.
Rick?
Nothing. You can follow me on the Twitter if you so choose to desire, I believe is the line that somebody uses. I'm sure that'll be down in the notes for the show. I'm looking forward to WrestleRager. I didn't get to attend last year's because I didn't want to take an 11-year-old to the bar last year. But since I'm going to be on my own this year, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And thanks again for having me. I'm glad that we could make the time to do this.
And, of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on all your social media. You can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire. My tagline, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And, of course, we got the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. We still have the little mystery giveaway that ends, I believe, at the end of this month. And just go on to iTunes, give us a review, send in a screenshot. And the last time I checked, we have only 5 people who have done it. Ironically enough, 2 of the people are here on the call. You have a chance right now.
I want that prize.
And not many people know what it is. And I won't announce it until I announce the winner. And
I have no idea what it is, but I know I want it really bad.
I've heard it's tickets to a Steve Guy comedy show.
Unfortunately, no. Why would that be in a box? And I'll give this one.
It's the mystery box. It could be anything.
What the prize is in that box, but there's 2 of them, and one of them is mine. The other one is the one given away, and
to me, the winner of the contest.
So go on to iTunes, rate and review us. Could be 5 stars, could be 2 stars, whatever it is. You have to type something for it to show up. That's what I would recommend to do. Yeah, you can review and just put a star rating, but those type of reviews don't necessarily show up. But I would suggest just write something, give us a screenshot, and just so we know who it is. And technically, only one person has sent in a screenshot, so technically they're the only person who's entered. But the only reason why I asked for a screenshot, so I know who's who. I don't want to say, hey, this person won, and then have 2 people say, well, that's mine. I want to know beforehand who it is. But luckily enough, everybody has... Actually, no, there is 2 people. I forgot. There was one person who sent it in, but I would have looked at their review and said, okay, I know who this is anyway. So only 5. I know there isn't... not everybody, I should say, has iTunes. Has Apple Podcast. Maybe go online, go download iTunes and do it. That's the only thing I can ask, because I don't know, and I haven't had time to look, if Google Podcast offers it. Not many things offer reviews like that. Maybe, I haven't decided, you could go to Facebook and do it, but then, I don't know, I don't know. I feel like I could give that to other people too and be have 2 shots at it, but...
Yep, leaving a review on the Facebook right now.
But at least those are easy to track. I could tell who wrote them. But if you find a way to rate and review us that I'm not thinking about, please let us know. So Apple Podcast is the number one thing. It does help, get the word out about us, and it helps when you type in Wrestling Cheers and maybe we are the first ones that come up. But it helps us at least look better. So please go do that. And Yeah, we have more to talk about than just that. We have all the shows on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and a brand new show that just joined the network called the Broke Ass Brocast. Actually, they are friends of mine, two of which that I used to work with, and they decided to start doing a podcast. Is it the best thing out there? I'll openly say no, but I'm giving my friends a platform. They didn't have anything to really release the audio file on, so helping my friends out. Maybe I'll do some crossover work with them, and that'll be fun. But we also have other podcast friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Adults, Benefits of Podcasting, Center Stage, that's SENTAR Stage, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, and the Indie Cast. And then check out our non-podcast friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, Rebel Life Media, The Savage Stash, Set Tab Photo, Ringside Shots Photography, NEO Sports Insiders, and Moy Boy Designs.
Go to thrift stores, Big Cartel, thriftstorebjobber.bigcartel.com and buy something so thrift store can buy me Ritas at WrestleRager.
You're not gonna
also, there's nowhere to review on the Facebook. I liked and followed it, but there's no review. Damn
Really?
it.
You sure?
I'm literally looking right at it.
I always thought maybe I have to open something up.
Do it. I'll be the first to review it.
I'll look into that, but I guess that will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you don't like the taste of bananas. Later.
Gross.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you